Yes, so the next one is about 3D printing. Now, 3D printing is not new lah. I mean, it's new-ish, but it's not really very new. The main keyword that we are want to focusing on is bespoke. Now, in construction, there are the main few factors that we always face is cost and time, right? But imagination is usually not the case. You can always imagine really fantastic things to do, but usually it's either impractical to make or downright impossible, right? But with 3D printing and the breakthroughs that it provides as of recent years, we are hoping that this may no longer be the case. So the first pointer that we immediately put out is unique, right? With 3D printing, can we build something that is truly unique and aesthetically pleasing to the eye? Okay, as of now, yes, you could probably do it, but then we go to our next point, whereby is it sustainable in terms of cost, in terms of manpower, in terms of time? Okay, and therefore, if we can overcome these obstacles, then we can really unleash what we can imagine the building to be, right? Through 3D printing, if we can achieve these kind of designs that are truly unique, bespoke, those kind of characteristics, then we can really build something that is uh, truly special, right? And also with 3D printing, the main thing is also we reduce the reliance on labors from the likes of craftsmen. The characteristics of this 3D printing solution that we are looking for is that we are able to produce free-form and non-symmetrical components, right? And also the other thing is scalability. Like I mentioned just now, it's one thing to be able to build one unique item, but can you do it at a large scale? Can you make it very big, right? The other thing is that environmentally sustainable and preferably recyclable, because everything has a footprint nowadays, and we should be more conscious of that. And last but not least, as with all things, cost effectiveness, right? Especially when you talk about scalability, when you want to build something of a substantial size, right? Scalability becomes very important. Oh, yeah, and sorry, last thing. And the material that we would like to 3D print has to be a cementitious product, right? Generally, 3D printing nowadays is plastic and maybe even steel. Cementitious 3D printing is still in the works, lah, right, within the industry. Now, a bit of specs on what we hope to achieve is about 300 by 300 by 500, 300 by 300 to about 500 by 500 based on the design. And the solution must cater, again, we keep coming back to this, but it really has to cater for large scale production. So cost and sustainability really has to be scalable for the solution to work. Anything else? I believe that is the rest for this slide. I think we can go to the Q&A now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Audience, feel free to put in your questions, and we will ask them to Muhammad Faris. Yep. So just a question. Is there based on your clientele, right? Is there certain design themes that is more desirable? For example, floral, abstract. Will you be able to give us some insights on that?
Based on our clientele, Tiong Seng as a company, we have very strong precast capabilities, right? I cannot speak about future clientele, but in our past, we have had to build certain facades and certain designs that were already quite out of the box. Park Royal is one of them that I can think off the top of my head, right? So building these kind of things is not new to us, but precast is one thing, 3D printing is another thing altogether, right? If we can push the benefits gained from precast even further through 3D printing, then that would be ideal. But as of right now, going forward, it's really hard to say, because as of right now, if we want to do something truly bespoke, then Tiong Seng, our direction is to go with precast. But yeah, so 3D printing is the next step that we are looking for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Understand that first we explore whether the designs can be 3D printed, but the actual assembly and the engineering process, right? That Tiong Seng can work together with our innovators to figure out how we can put the beautiful designs onto the facade. Could you share a bit more about that?
Yes, definitely. So it's one thing to be able to print it out. It's another thing to tell me that, okay, this thing has been certified by a professional engineer that it's safe to hoist and mount and it won't crumble and break down under the expected loads, right? So definitely that is where Seng will be willing to lend our expertise, right? We can definitely come in and advise on things like your design, on things like how much load it can bear, on things like whether the shape is just sometimes it could be just downright impossible as uh, in terms of your load bearing capabilities. So definitely uh, as far as the construction and the engineering capabilities of the solution goes, yes, Tiong would definitely take a larger step in working with the partner. But the production is the part that we would really like to work with someone for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just a final question from me. So just now you mentioned about regulatory considerations. What are the things that on your top of head that when designing is important to consider?
Okay, so as of right now, definitely, uh, we are looking at non-structural elements, right? Uh, to get regulatory approval for structural elements is another ballpark altogether, lah, right? So as of right now, for this project, for this BM project, we are looking for a solution for our purely non-structural elements. So as far as regulatory bodies goes, the requirements would not be as high.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing more about this challenge statement.